Despite Attack on Titan being so popular, I constantly see wrong information about the series. So today, let's go in depth on what your buddies are getting wrong. Don't worry, you could blame them. Before that, I'm excited to announce L-Sword sponsoring this bonus video. Go ahead and click that top link to check them out, which is freaking awesome. In case you're wondering, what in the world is L-Sword? L-Sword is this pretty fun anime style MMO that's free to play. It has 12 characters that are fully updated and customizable. The lovely part in particular is this new streamlined skill system. Now you can stop worrying about how to use skill points. You simply auto-learn skills when leveling up. Go ahead and learn all the skills without sacrificing anything. For a newcomer like me to this game, it was actually really helpful. I mentioned the 12 characters available. They all have their unique storylines and abilities. Something unique that surprised me was this actually being a platformer side-scrolling game. It just gives us this pretty casual feel that's super easy to jump into. And by the way, L-Sword has a ton of dungeons for you to go all out on. There you'll find some fun and crazy looking mobs. Then the boss at the very end. Definitely be ready. L-Sword actually has a huge focus on combos and skill chaining, which gives the chance for some cool visuals. And don't worry, of course there's PvP, so bring your buddy. I always get skeptical when it comes to this sort of thing when it comes to free-to-play games. In case you're wondering, is it pay to win? L-Sword is actually transitioning from being pay to win to being this play to win focus, so you don't have to worry about any pesky loot boxes. Plus, L-Sword is constantly getting new updates and events. You can go ahead and check out the game on the top link. Just click it and check them out. So far, I've been playing this on my laptop, so I'm sure you could run it. And just a huge thank you to L-Sword for sponsoring this video. I'm sure you heard of that adpocalypse, so sponsors like this really help a ton. Especially with me just trying to move into doing this full-time or hiring an editor. So please do me the huge favor of checking their website. It'll help a lot. And who knows, potentially L-Sword could come back to sponsor more videos for you. Anyway, now back into your regular scheduled programming. Attack on Titan. The first thing that needs to get addressed is something regarding your favorite raging boy, Eren. I joke around about Eren having a hot Asian sister, but it turns out some of you actually believe this. The sister part, that is. That these two hooking up would be incest. I can't tell you how often I see this. Oh, I could imagine some of the hate comments now. But whether you're actually for Eren and Mikasa being the endgame Attack on Titan couple, or heavily against it, let's put aside that for a second. Looking at the actual definition of incest, sexual intercourse between people so closely related that they would be forbidden by law to marry. Does this apply? For Mikasa, not only is she from this minority group known as the Ackerman, her mother was from the fricking Asian clan. Forget about them not being closely related. Mikasa is from a completely different race. And then some of you will bring up how Mikasa grew up together with Eren, that she's the adopted daughter, so it would be like incest. I'll give you that, it would be a little weird, but that's definitely not incest. Technically, Mikasa was never fully adopted into the Jaeger family. The last name Ackerman of hers is a huge hint. Mikasa herself has never referred to Grisha or Carla as mother or father. In fact, Mikasa refers to them as uncle and aunt in the novel. Also, the part about them both growing up together, how exactly do you measure this? Mikasa actually got taken in by the Jaegers around 9. 1 year later, the Colossal Titan kickstarted this whole Attack on Titan adventure. This means Eren and Mikasa only lived together for around a year, perhaps less. So back to the question, is Mikasa smashing Eren incest, or just weird? I'll go ahead and say that it's confirmed not to be incest. About the weird part, I'll leave that question to you to decide. Go ahead and post below, and I'm sure history is gonna keep on repeating. Switching gears to Mikasa's counterpart is the blonde girl Annie. You saw Annie as a female titan try to kidnap Princess Eren during the female titan arc back in season 1. I've seen so much confusion regarding this, especially after the recent Uprising arc. Why didn't Annie just eat Eren? I mean, it could have solved all their problems. Annie would have been the female titan, rogue titan, and even the almighty founding titan, which is what they wanted. Mission accomplished. After that, Annie would have just had to escape from the two Ackermen tailing her ass. Okay, so maybe that wouldn't have been too easy. To be honest, you're not wrong if you think this. It would have saved them a lot of trouble. However, there's multiple reasons Annie didn't swallow. At that point in the story, the location of 3 other titans were unknown. One being the Founding Titan, the second being the Rage Titan, and the third being the Jaws Titan that Ymir accidentally stole. So why didn't Annie or even Reiner eat Eren later? It really comes down to them not being sure what powers Eren had. Their mission was to bring back the Founding Titan, but not necessarily combining Titan powers in the process. Although you'd be right, just looking back at it, it would have been much easier. Talking about Ymir, there still is a lot of confusion and mystery surrounding her Titan. You found out in season 2 that Ymir had been a mindless Titan for 60 plus years. She was just chilling out, playing around with her Titan buddies for decades. Or who knows, just buried in the dirt. You then found out that Ymir ate one of the warriors, causing Ymir to accidentally steal their Titan powers. Here's where the confusion comes in. Just being vague about it. Titans have certain life restrictions. So how was Ymir alive for 60 plus years outside of the walls? The two things I constantly see confused is Ymir Mindless Titan and Ymir Jaws Titan. Mindless Titans have different restrictions compared to Titan shifters like the Jaws Titan. In other words, there's no issues at all with Ymir being outside for 60 plus years. If you really want to know the spoiler details, comment down below. Next confusion up, this goes back to the female Titan with Annie being stuck in ice. You saw that strange Dragon Ball Titan fusion at the end of season 1. It ultimately ended with Annie encasing herself in some rock-hard Titan crystal. The confusion I see pretty often is regarding Annie's whereabouts in Attack on Titan season 2 and season 3. I'm really curious about this, so answer me this. In season 3, where do you think Annie is? Is she still inside the crystal? This is actually where the confusion gets interesting. A lot of people seem to think that Annie is out and about due to something mentioned from season 2. Recall back to the end of season 2 during the Clash of the Titans. Armin managed to get on top of the armored Titan. Right here, Armin revealed Annie being stuck deep underground and slowly being tortured for information. This pissed Reiner and Bert the hell off. Except, it wasn't a reveal at all. Armin just made up some BS on the spot about Annie, just to trick them. Looks like Armin ended up tricking a few more thousand people too. Whoops. Switching gears to the Attack on Titan story as a whole, there's been some widespread confusion about the actual timeline of the story. There's a lot to discuss here, but I'm only sticking to anime events. In year 845, the Colossal Titan and Armored Titan attacked. Armin, Mikasa, and Eren then stayed in refugee camps for 2 years. Funny enough, the warriors did the same thing. Year 847, 2 years later, all of them joined the training corps. They would then undergo training for 3 years total. In year 850, the Colossal Titan appeared and destroyed the second wall. 1 month after this, Eren faced off against a female Titan. That was in the Titan Forest. Only 2 days after that, Eren fought Annie again within Wall Sina. Less than 24 hours later, Eren faced off against Reiner's armored Titan. Within 24 hours later, Eren got reacquainted with the smiling Titan that ate his mama and Hannes for a snack. Youch. 1 week after that exciting trip, you got the events of Attack on Titan Season 3. 2 weeks later, Historia got crowned Queen Historia. But you might be thinking, what does it all mean? Even though it's been 4 to 5 years for you since Season 1, for Eren and the trio, it really hasn't been that long at all. The final part of Season 1 combined with Season 2 plus Season 3 really took place within the span of 3 weeks. Not even a freaking month. That's actually pretty insane. Poor Eren. Now going back to your hot Asian sister Mikasa. This time I'll actually bring in your favorite, Levi Ackerman. A lot of people seem to ship both of these. Although this is about something else, notably their Ackerman last names. You know, Mikasa is an Ackerman from her father's side. And then Levi is an Ackerman from his mother's side. The confusion I often see is how many of you think that Levi is Asian for some reason, just like Mikasa. And then some of you may be thinking, what the hell? The confusion comes from people mixing up the Asian and Ackerman clan, which is straight out combining them for some strange reason. Let me just clarify that these two groups are totally different. In other words, you can't claim that Levi is small due to him being Asian. Talking about specific groups, there's further confusion about the Attack on Titan people and setting as a whole. Let me clarify part of this. Some of you seem to think that Attack on Titan takes place in Japan, and hence Eren, Armin, and everyone else must be Japanese. I don't know how you forget that a whole freaking episode was just dedicated to Mikasa being the last Asian, but okay. It still is a question even now where the Attack on Titan story really takes place in. I made a whole video on that topic. Most likely it's not Japan, that would be the Attack on Titan clone anime. Attack on Titan on trains, who thought that was a good idea? Then, saying that they're Japanese since they speak Japanese. By that logic, Thanos would have been born on Earth since he speaks freaking English. Come on, it really comes down to one of those storytelling elements you have to let go. Without going into spoilers, there's one majority group within the walls. Armin and Eren are part of this. Then you get the minority groups that include wealthy nobles, the Ackerman family, and the Asian clan. Next up, talking about humanity's most overpowered soldier, Levi Ackerman. Let's play a little game. Ha ha ha. How old is Levi Ackerman? Just pause the video to post Levi's age below. You'll find out how many people actually know about Levi. I've seen countless of you mention over the years how Levi is in his 20s. Some of you think he's slightly above Eren's age, just being that genius warrior cliche. On some occasions, you even see people thinking that Levi is younger than freaking Eren. This is mostly due to Levi's height. Let me clarify that Isayama has not given out an exact age for Levi, although he did reveal him to be in his early 30s. In the current story, Levi should be around 35. Levi has survived the Survey Corps expectancy by a few times. Let's hope it stays that way. And stop shipping him with Mikasa. Ugh. Now getting into the shonen favorite, the berserk mode for Eren's Titan at the end of season 1. I constantly see you bringing this up. I even seen freaking known manga readers mention this. What the crap? Oh, just get Eren to go into rage mode. That'll solve everything. It just makes me want to rip this wig off. Then I saw a revival from this from the Attack on Titan season 3. Man, why didn't Eren go rage mode on Ra's 120-meter Titan? Eren would have smashed that long rod. To be fair, season 3 did double down on this by showing the berserk mode in a flashback. Keep in mind that this berserk mode is actually only anime original. In the manga, it never happened, and they just pretend it doesn't exist. Even Isayama has never personally addressed it. That's why I wouldn't expect the shonen cliche to be back anytime soon. Getting into the most confused thing in the series. I know, it's gonna sound weird, but I'm talking about the name of the series. The English name to be exact, Attack on Titan. The natural interpretation of this is Eren and the rest of the Scouts launching their attack against humanity's worst enemies, the Titans. This is why I've seen this popular criticism from the Uprising arc. Man, this is Attack on Titan, not Attack on Humans. This sucks. Where are the Titans? To be fair, I could totally understand the confusion. The main issue here is the translation. The original name is Shingeki no Kyojin. You later find out that this is actually the name of a Titan. With this in mind, the English translation doesn't really make sense anymore. Something like Attack Titan or Advancing Titan would have been a much more fitting translation. And I know what you're thinking. Does this mean the name Attack on Titan is wrong? Not necessarily. As a Japanese speaker, I'll tell you that there's multiple correct ways to translate a given Japanese phrase into English. Also just keep in mind, you often do see changes when localizing something when you're marketing something in a different language. I think Food Wars comes to mind. Then there's also the question about whether Isayama thought this far ahead into the Attack on Titan story, before chapter 1 was even published. But hey, that's just the Attack on Titan Shingeki no Attack on Titan story. I'm sure you'll continue seeing these confusions, but now you can point them to right here. Really quickly, just a huge thank you to Elsor for sponsoring this video. If you could do me the huge favor, please click on the link below. It'll help so much. It would be really nice to have Elsor back in the future. Anyway, let me hear from you. Question of the day. How much of these did you get wrong? Come on, be honest. And have you seen people confused about this stuff in the past? I'm super curious, so let me know down below. Anyway, definitely give us a colossal thumbs up and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, you could enjoy Attack on Titan videos each week. This is an ongoing weekly series, so subscribe so you don't miss out. Go ahead and check out last week's in-depth video on the Beast Titan. Is this hairy beast the main enemy? Be sure to hit bell notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.